Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney Bundles, and today's video is going to go over 3 business discouragements for those of you that are in the hair industry. And I really can go even a step further and say for all of you entrepreneurs that are selling products. If you're selling products, you may have these discouragements. No matter what industry you get into, there's always going to be some type of obstacle that you feel that you need to overcome. And being an entrepreneur, what I have learned is that problem solving and being creative goes a long, long way. It's good to research your information, to have a mentor, to get advice from others, but it is also very, very important that you get your feet wet and get out there and find different ways that work for you. I stress that so much because we all are different. Everyone has a different way of receiving information, processing information. Everyone has different experiences, and ultimately everyone has a different idea of where they want their business to go. So with that being said, there are going to be some things that you're not going to know how you would address certain situations until you're actually in those situations. Now, I do, again, agree with mentors. I'm actually a mentor myself, watching different videos. I put out hundreds of videos on this channel going over business related topics, but I do stress to anyone that comes to me as a mentee or during business consultations, when the conversation arises, that it is important to get your feet wet, get used to trying out different things with your business and figuring out what to do if it doesn't go as you plan. Because a lot of times success starts when you start to figure out ways to overcome the objections that your customers may throw at you, or where you overcome some of the hills that you may have to climb in terms of getting your business to the next level. There may be a certain issue that you're going with, or a chargeback, or just something that you're dealing with that you really have to use your creativeness to get through, and your problem solving skills. I remember saying this in a video some years ago, that being a good entrepreneur, a good business owner, it's not about being perfect. It's not about getting every single thing right, but it's about learning from every experience. And so what better way to learn than to take in all the information from others, and then also put in your input and apply what you feel is best as well. And then kind of tweak your processes and your regimen to fit your business needs and your clients and customers. So today we're going to be talking about 3 main discouragements that I hear from entrepreneurs and some ways to combat them. And I'm going to be looking at my notes as usual. Before we get started with the video, be sure to give the video a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed. Also, if you're interested in more of my fun content that is away from business, not saying that business content isn't fun, but if you're more into my beauty videos like hair and nails, or mukbangs, or vlogs, story times, go over to my second channel at Brittney's Place, because those videos are over there. I'd appreciate it if you watch, leave a comment that you came from the main channel, and subscribe. That really would help me out, so I appreciate that. But without further ado, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed, and let's get right into it. So the first point that I'm going to go over is slow times. If you are in the hair industry, or in the beauty industry, or really in any industry, and you're selling products, or even offering a service for that matter, let's broaden the conversation even further. You may have heard or seen different posts on Facebook or on social media about how slow times have been for certain businesses. In the beauty industry, I see the posts all the time. I see the posts a lot in the summertime. I see the posts, here and there in the fall, and I sometimes see it in the winter as well. But I see it a lot of times, especially now, people saying, hey, the beauty industry just isn't how it used to be. A lot of stylists aren't getting the traffic that they used to get. Now, I do want to say this too. Location matters. As much as we like to say location doesn't matter, I can say, for certain businesses, especially if you're online based, location may not matter as much because you can reach a broad audience. But if you are a stylist, I remember working as the owner of my salon, and just being able to see different struggles of stylists. And I can let you know that depending on where you are, depending on the traffic, not even just like what city you're in, but also where your location is based, all of that matters. Now, there are some people that have built their brand and their name to a point where it doesn't matter where they're at because they have that much support or people will travel to them. But until you get to that place in business, yes, location definitely matters. I just want to put that out there because I used to get asked that question all the time. And before I was asked that question, I used to ask that question, does location really matter? Yes, it does. If you're looking at offering a service, if you're looking at having clients actually come in, yes, it does. But back to the point of slow times, you know, businesses experience slow times. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Slow times is not, it's not just for, or just, owned by the beauty industry or hair businesses, or e-commerce. Slow times happen. If you follow, what's going on in your local neighborhood or in your local community, and you look at a lot of different businesses, how businesses may be here today and literally gone next month, or here for a year. And then the next year you go back and you're like, what? Wasn't this just a bookstore last year? Wasn't this just a cookie place? Why are these businesses changing so fast? Businesses are constantly figuring out different ways to adapt and evolve. That's in every industry. Some businesses will try to open up shop in a certain location and realize after that year, okay, this is not the right move. We're going to close up shop before we lose even more money. Some businesses decide to file bankruptcy. Some businesses decide to relocate. Some businesses decide to go online. It's all about what your strategic plan for your business is, and also what your strategic plan for your financial future is. So sometimes we do hold on to businesses, and we don't make any changes because we want something to work so bad. And although you may want that, we also have to be open to the fact that even though we want this, we have to figure out different ways to make this want a reality. And if it's not working, let's try some different things, That can be tricky because, like I've mentioned on my podcast, the Brittney Bundles podcast, when you're trying so many things at once and you're not giving yourself time to actually see the results, the fruit of what you tried, it can really stall the process of you trying to find that sweet spot in your business. I'll go into detail in another video in further depth. So make sure that you are subscribed if you want to hear more about that theory and my experience. But slow times, something that happens to the best of us. The main thing that I can do, or that I can recommend you to do, that I do as well, is don't put all of your eggs in one basket. I know you've probably heard that saying. It's a very popular saying, but it's so true. Even if my hair is slow during sales, I have multiple different areas of revenue that I receive income from. I'm not going to say so many areas that I don't see what's happening with my hair income, but it's enough income where I'm not solely relying on my hair income. Okay. So that gives me the ability to have less stress because I'm not like, okay, I need to sell all of this hair. If I don't, I'm not going to be able to pay my rent or my mortgage. I'm not going to be able to pay my car note. I'm not going to be able to eat this. You don't want all of your eggs in one basket. When you're stressed, when you are feeling a sense of urgency within yourself that you have to sell this amount of hair in order to eat. And I'm not saying that it's not good to have goals, but when you have all of your energy and all of your time and all of your concern, I hope this camera isn't lopsided, but I think it is, on one specific area, and that area doesn't happen, it affects the entire way that you think. When you are under stress, stress can be a good thing. And I've actually learned that in my psychology class. So I'll be talking about that in some other videos too. But when you're under chronic stress and you are wanting something to happen so bad, and you're getting up, you're trying, and it's not working, that can impact the way that you view yourself. So it can impact your self-esteem. Your self-esteem can impact your confidence when working with other people. Your confidence with other people can impact if they're going to purchase or not. The energy that you're giving off when you're working with other people while you're under that stress can impact other people's perception and experience when they're shopping with you. Like I talked about in my last video, the experience is one reason that people continue to come back. It's a reason. It's a one of the benefits or one of the highlights of people deciding, hey, do I want to repeat again with this business? Do I want to become a repeat customer? And I know they're not maybe thinking that word, but just thinking to themselves, do I want to have this experience again? It's important to understand where you are in your business and how you're reacting to what's going on around you. Yes, have goals. I talk about that all the time. Have a goal of how many bundles you're planning on selling. And I'm saying bundles because I'm referring to the hair industry, selling hair extensions, but you can substitute bundles for anything: clothes, socks, journals. Have a goal for how much you want to sell, but also be strategic and have other ways to bring in income so that you're not solely dependent on one source. Okay, that is a way to combat slow times. Another way to combat slow times is to change up, like I've mentioned before, change up your marketing strategies. It's okay to try different strategies out. You don't have to stick to one specific strategy. Now, again, like I mentioned before, you don't want to change so much where you're not able to see the fruit or the benefit or the success of one particular marketing strategy. But you want to make sure that you are becoming adaptive to what's going on. So, you may not like doing something, and it shows if you don't like doing something, but try to figure out a way that you can do something that still fits in with the time. For example, I don't like TikTok. Okay. I know people may be like, what? I'm not a big TikTok fan. I don't have the app downloaded on my phone. The only time I really watch TikToks is if someone sends me a TikTok, and some of them are really funny and good. I'm not saying I don't like TikTok because it's not good stuff. I'm saying for some reason, I just don't gravitate toward it. I tried doing TikTok. So if you go on TikTok and pull up Brittney Bundles, you'll see some of my TikToks on there. I did that. But I'm like, I'm not feeling it. And if I don't like doing something, then I'm going to slowly not do it. That I just know that about myself. So I didn't want to stop posting or stop marketing altogether. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try YouTube Shorts. That's another option that's trending. That's another option that is able to grow my channel, to reach another audience. And a lot of people that watch Shorts also watch TikToks because they're short form videos. So figuring out ways to add that into my content, add that into my marketing has really helped me. And I made a video on this channel about how YouTube Shorts helped my channel grow in such a short time. Create a chart so that you can gauge each month how your business is trending. Shopify actually does a really good job with already having charts inside the analytics for you. So if you're not with Shopify for your e-commerce store, I recommend you switch over. I will have the link down below. So those are some things that you can do when it's, slow. Also, second thing I want to go over is vendor inconsistency. So many people complain about their vendor. I placed an order. My vendor is late again. I didn't get my package. My package was delivered to the wrong place. My vendor isn't responsive. My vendor isn't polite. My vendor doesn't respond back within a good time frame. All of these concerns, which are valid. Let me say it again. Let me go closer. They're valid concerns, okay? It's tricky when your business doesn't just rely on you. Your business is a working part if you're selling products. It's not just you and the customer. You also have different factors. Like if you're an e-commerce site, you still have the factor of your website. Like if your website goes down, you still have to show up for your business, right? You still have to be responsible of letting people know, hey, my service is down, my website isn't working. Your website is still going to be as useful as you present it to be. People aren't going to go on your website all the time and skim through every single section. If you want to promote your blog, for example, you're going to need to promote your blog. If you're having a discounted sale, you're going to want to promote that discounted sale, no matter how big you are, right? Because even huge corporations do that. So your business is a lot of working parts. One of those working parts is your vendor, because without the products, you're not selling the products, right? You need the products in order to sell it. A lot of people go to drop shipping. That is one option if you are concerned about your vendor inconsistency. And some may say, well, hey, I'm drop shipping now and I have that same concern with my drop ship supplier. You want to make sure, to the best of your ability, that you are working with someone that has good communication with you. Why? Because you're going to need it. Even if you don't feel like you need it today, you're going to need it down the line. You're going to want someone that can get to you within a timely manner. You're going to want someone that's professional. You're going to want someone that cares about the quality that they're sending you, because again, your name's going to be on that product, not your vendors. So it's important to do your research, not just do your research, but actually test out some vendors. You can research all you want, but when you actually get your turn to order, you want to make sure that what you research is actually true when you start working with that customer or working with that vendor, excuse me. So when you have vendor supply issues, one way to combat that is to have hair on hand or have your products on hand. You don't have to have a lot of product on hand, and everyone has a different idea of what a lot is, but I recommend you having some product on hand. Why? For example, for me, if I get into let's say someone orders some samples today, right? And I want to send them out. They're thinking about starting drop shipping, and I can really secure this drop shipping client. I can get paid for it today. I can send out the bundles tomorrow. Today's Sunday, so I can send them out Monday, and everyone's happy. Well, if my vendor, let's say they're on vacation, or let's say they're not answering, or let's say whatever the case may be, and I don't get in touch with them for like 5 days, and then when I finally get in touch and I place that order, it takes another 3 days to get to me. If I have the right expectation on my website, 7 to 10 business days for shipping, okay, cool, But it would be even cooler if I had the hair here and I could ship it out when I wanted to. Ship it out as soon as I wanted to, right? If someone wanted to pick up the hair, they had the option to do that if I allowed them to, or if someone wanted to meet me someplace. So when you have product on hand, it gives you more flexibility, and you're not so much at the mercy of that vendor. It even gives you time to find a new vendor if you need to, instead of having to wait until that vendor responds back to you, or having to wait until that vendor reships the package. So if you are having problems with your vendors, inconsistency, I would strongly recommend having a conversation with the vendor. If you can't get anything resolved, if it doesn't change, start looking for another vendor. I already recommend that you have multiple vendors anyways. I've been recommending that for years now. I already recommend that you use drop shipping. Even if you're not in the hair industry, there's different product industries that offer drop shipping. Have drop shipping as a backup method, as a backup option. It's kind of like an alarm system. Like, you never know that you need it until you need it, right? Like, by the time someone, God forbids, breaks into a house, the time to get an alarm system is not right then when they break in. You should have already had that alarm system on standby. That's the same kind of analogy that you want to have with your vendors. The time to get another vendor is not when this vendor starts messing up. Have another vendor on standby anyways. I would at least have 2 vendors. Make sure that their products are very similar in texture, in the grade of hair that you're offering. Make sure that everything aligns, because again, your name's on the front end. My mom yesterday, she went to, I think she was at McDonald's, and I was on the phone with her. She was in the drive-thru, and she ordered a cherry limeade. Was it McDonald's? I don't know. It was some restaurant. And she ordered a cherry limeade or some kind of drink like that. And she got to the counter, and the woman said, here's your milkshake. My mom said, I didn't order the milkshake. I don't want the milkshake. I ordered a cherry limeade. And the woman said, oh, okay, well, our cherry limeade machine is down. So did you want the milkshake? My mom said, no, thank you. I don't want the milkshake. I ordered the cherry limeade. She said, well, the person at the front window should have told you that our machine was down. My mom was like, okay, they didn't. And I don't want the milkshake. So may I have a refund? I'm going to go someplace else. And the lady kept saying, well, yeah. The point is, she kept explaining all the back end, excuse me, the back end, and explaining why you can't have, my mom couldn't have what she ordered, and why she should have been told that before she got to her window. When customers really don't care about that, to be honest, some customers may. But some customers don't care about what happened on the back end. They don't care if your vendor decided not to answer for 5 days once they paid you the money. They don't care if your vendor shipped your package and you forgot to put your apartment number on there, so your package is lost right now, but they already paid you for their hair. They don't care. All they care about is, okay, so what's going to happen with my money? What's going to happen with my product that I purchased? What's going to happen to me? What's in it for me? Right? So it's important to remember that before you start thinking about, well, this is what I'm going through with my vendor, and that just think about it in a customer's perspective. Do they really care? And is it really fair for them to have to worry about the back end processes of what makes your business run, the different working parts of how your business operates? No. So it's important before you even get into a position like that where you're feeling like you have to justify what happened and what didn't happen and all of this stuff, that you just go ahead and make sure that you have backup. You have a plan A, B, C, D. Okay. So have a minimum of 2 vendors, sign up for drop shipping. Even if it's not with me, I do offer drop shipping, but even if it's not with me, sign up for drop shipping, have that on standby so you can keep your business moving even when someone drops the ball. Okay. So that is one way to combat vendor inconsistency. Also, before I move off of that, offering a combination of products and services. So I got tired of relying just on my vendor, like just on products. And so what I would do is I purchased hair to have on hand. That kind of alleviated some of the pressure of having to contact my vendor so many times and place orders. And then I also had multiple vendors. And I really never used my second vendor, but still, it gives me peace of mind knowing that that's there in case. And I also started adding different services, different things to my website that I could do without having to have my vendor's hand in it. Different things that I can do where I can receive full profit. So look into mixing up your products with services as well. If you're asking what kind of services, I can do another video on that, leave a comment, but look into doing that. The last thing that I'm going to go over is marketing. If you are feeling like, dang, marketing is discouraging me. I am having difficulty marketing. I don't know how to bring in the audience that I need to bring in. Like I said in the beginning of the video, trial and error. I know people don't like that, but honestly, or else you're going to know what works for you. Just because someone tells you a story or gives you advice, even myself, on what worked for me, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work the same way for you, because like I said in the beginning of the video, our cognitive processing is different. We all have a different way of how we receive, store, process information. We all do. So just because I'm saying something doesn't mean that it's going to register to you the way that I did it, number one. And just because it, even if it does register the exact way that I'm saying it to you, and you follow step by step by step, it doesn't mean that you're not going to add some different twists to it. And it doesn't mean that we're going to be able to do things the exact same way. And it doesn't mean that even if we do things the exact same way, that it's going to attract the exact same people. How many times have you seen something on Facebook, literally, where someone has posted one post that says the exact same thing as someone else? And because this person is this person, and this person has this circle and this many followers, that post gets 1 million likes. This post, the same thing, but because this person has a different following base, they have different supporters, they get 5 likes. How many times have you seen that? Right? So it doesn't mean that you do the same thing, you get the same result. That doesn't mean that. It makes sense that it would, but it doesn't always mean that when you're marketing. So figuring out who your audience is, who, before you even go out and try to figure out how can I reach my target audience, who do you have right now? Okay, let's figure out who we have right now. Let's take some polls. Let's do some engagement with our current customer and clients. Let's do some current engagement with our current viewers and supporters. Who are they? What are they here for? What are they wanting more of? And you can kind of gauge that, like I said before, by different metrics. So figuring out, what page on my website are they going to most frequently? Are they going to my hair site page over my services page? When I send out newsletters, are more people opening the newsletters that are going over how to start a hair business versus my newsletters going over different hair textures? Figuring out, doing different surveys, doing polls on your Instagram, doing polls on your Facebook, figuring out what people want to see. If you are doing video content, how many views am I getting on topics like this versus this? And then kind of curating your marketing strategy to incorporate what people are mainly wanting to see. Trying different lengths in your marketing. So if you're doing videos, trying some long form videos, some short form videos, mixing it up, becoming adaptable, and integrating different, I hate to say trending, but integrating different trending methods in to get that point across. Now, you don't have to be, I'm not a trendy person. I don't like all the trends, right? And I think that they fade out. So it's really important to not get hooked on every trend, to find your own identity in business, so to speak. But it's also important to figure out like what people are watching and what they're into so that you also can gravitate their attention. And then figure out, okay, who is my target audience? Who am I trying to target? What people are interested in what I'm offering? What people already want what I have? Instead of thinking like, well, how can I convince these people to want what? Yeah, you want to convince, but not really. And I say that because, yeah, we want to show people and highlight the benefits of working with us and purchasing our products and how our products can give them what they want and make their lives easier, whatever you're offering, how our products can do this for them, whatever benefit your products offer. But we also want people that already know what they want. You know how long it takes to convince someone to do something versus someone that already knows what they're wanting to do? For example, if I'm at a car dealership and I'm selling a car, I want someone that's coming that's already looking to buy a car. I don't want to get someone that's in the ice cream line, not thinking anything about purchasing a car. I don't want to go to the ice cream shop and start talking to them about why they should come down to the dealership. And then once they get to the dealership, why they should look at these particular size cars because of how many kids they have. And then, hey, why don't they sit in this car and now look at how smooth the car drives? I don't want to have to shape their behavior like that. I don't want to have to do that. That's a lot of work and a lot of time. And by the time I get the person in the driver's seat and I'm like, okay, so how do you like it? And they're like, oh, I like it. Okay, so are you ready to purchase? Well, I really wasn't prepared to purchase today, which is true. They weren't thinking anything about it. Someone may have said, yeah, I am thinking about getting it. And, they may go ahead, but I'd much rather have someone that already comes into the dealership, already knows what kind of car they're looking for, knows, what space they need, knows what type of drive they want to have in a certain car. And that way I'm just presenting the options that we have. I'm not putting all the energy into selling them on the idea they need a car. They're already there. They've already arrived there. So it's important to figure out when you're looking at your target audience, who has already arrived at the point that they want what you're offering? Who is already there? Who's already ready to purchase what it is you have, right? And being able to get that target audience and hone them in, keeping them interested, keeping them engaged. So how do we do that? Are we going to constantly send out newsletters? And I don't send out newsletters to the point that it gets people to unsubscribe, but how are we going to keep them engaged? Are you going to create a Facebook page or a group or a website? I have a website where I keep everyone that's interested in keeping up with what I'm doing together. My website is keepingupwithbrittney.com. If you want to subscribe to my newsletter over there, I really would appreciate it. I go over different business tips and I've done some master classes. And so sign up over there, some good stuff. But how are you going to keep everyone together? How are you going to keep this community? What are you going to do to build this community and keep them engaged? So those are some things that you can think about when you're marketing too. So I really hope that these discouraging topics and the solutions or some recommendations that I provided really help you all. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them down below. I do want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.